Okay, new problem. Let's say we want to find the antiderivatives of 2x cubed plus 3x squared minus 15x minus 24 all over x squared minus 2x minus 3. Now you might say, I know how to do this problem. This is just like our last one. You might be thinking, all right, so what we got to do is we got to factor the bottom, make it look like this. And then we'll do that partial fraction thing. We'll do that thing where we say, okay, we're going to take our fraction here and take a guess that it looks like a over x plus 1 plus b over x minus 3. Turns out that won't work here. It turns out this guessing, it won't work in this situation. So kind of a bummer. Turns out we're not stuck though. So, well, first let's discuss why it won't work. The reason why it was guaranteed to work in this situation is because the degree of this polynomial on top was smaller than the degree of this polynomial on the bottom. This has a power of 1 here. This has a power of 2. In order for this guessing to work, we need that to happen. We need the polynomial on top to have a smaller degree than the polynomial on bottom. Over here, that's not happening. The degree of the polynomial on top is bigger. It's bigger than or equal to the degree of the polynomial on the bottom. 3, it's not smaller than 2. So you might be saying, oh man, we're out of luck. What are we going to do? Well, it turns out we actually know how to fix this situation already. So we can fix this situation by doing polynomial long division. So you learned how to do polynomial long division in Calculus 1 when you studied oblique asymptotes and slant asymptotes. So hopefully you have seen polynomial long division before. If you haven't, well, there is a practice video up on doing polynomial long division, or there's a practice homework up on doing polynomial long division. So if you need practice, do that optional homework assignment on polynomial long division. So if you're a little rusty with it, I'm about to give you a crash course. So first of all, let's think about how we do normal long division. So let's say we want to do 37 divided by 5. Okay, you'd say, well, how many times does 5 go into 37? Say, oh, okay, it goes in about 7 times. 7 times 5 is 35. And then you subtract. You say, okay, 37 minus 35 is 2. And then you say, okay, how many times does 5 go into 2? Well, 5 doesn't go into 2. 2 is smaller than 5. So we say, okay, well, we can't do any more division. We're done. We'd say 2 is our remainder. So way back when you first learned long division, you would write down this. 37 divided by 5 is 7, remainder 2. Another way of writing that, though, is 37 divided by 5. It's 7 with 2/5 left over. So when you do long division, if you got 37 divided by 5, we see the 7 went here, we see the 2 went here, and we see the 5 went here. So we'll keep that in mind when we do long division of polynomials. So I want to take this polynomial here and divide it by this polynomial. So I want to take x squared minus 2x minus 3, and I want to divide it into 2x cubed plus 3x squared minus 15x minus 24. So I'm going to say, okay, how do we do that? Well, what we got to ask is, how many times does x squared go into 2x cubed? And you might be confused by that question, me asking how many times does x squared go into here? Well, I'm going to tell you the answer. The answer is going to be 2x. And you might say, how did you get that? Well, hold your horses. I'll explain that in a moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say, okay, what we want to do is put a 2x here. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to continue like we're doing normal long division. So look at how we did long division up here. We said 7 times 5 is 35. Then we subtracted the 35 from the 37. So we're going to do that here. We're going to say, all right, we're going to take this 2x and multiply it by this stuff. 2x times x squared gives you 2x cubed. 2x times negative 2x gives you negative 4x squared. 2x times negative 3 gives you negative 6x. Now what we're supposed to do is we're supposed to take this guy and subtract this guy, just like before. This guy minus that guy. So I have to take this guy and I have to subtract all this from it. 2x cubed minus 2x cubed gives you 0. 3x squared minus a negative 4x squared gives you 7x squared. Negative 15x minus a negative 6x gives you a negative 9x. Okay, now we have to talk about, well, how the heck did you know to put a 2x here? Well, look at what happened when we did the subtraction. 2x cubed minus 2x cubed is 0. So, by putting this guy here, I made sure that when I did my subtraction, I got 0. I got rid of the leading term here. So when you're trying to look for what number to put up here, what you have to do is say, what times x squared gives you 2x cubed? You got to be asking, what do I have to put here so that when I multiply it by this guy, I create this guy? Because in the next step, you want to be able to subtract and get rid of the leading term. So I need a 2x. 2x times this guy gives you that guy. So now I got to say, well, all right, I got to keep going with my long division. How many times does x squared go into 7x squared? And the answer now is 7. The reason is 7 times x squared gives you that guy. So 7 times x squared gives you 7x squared. 7 times negative 2x gives you negative 14x. 7 times negative 3 gives you negative 21. So now I'm supposed to take this thing and subtract this guy from it. Oh, and I realize I forgot to bring down my 24 back here. So I have negative 24 minus nothing gives me negative 24. So there should be a negative 24 down here. Okay, so I gotta be careful. I am subtracting this whole thing. So I'm taking this guy and I'm subtracting this guy. 7x squared minus 7x squared is 0. Negative 9x minus a negative 14x would be negative 9x plus 14x, which would be 5x. Negative 24 minus a negative 21 is negative 24 plus 21, which gives you a negative 3. Okay, so now we got to say, well, how many times does x squared minus 2x minus 3, how many times does it go into here? Or how many times does x squared go into 5x? Well, it doesn't. You got to think of it as this guy is smaller than this guy. This guy has degree 1, this guy has degree 2. So 1 is smaller than 2. It's like back here in our long division problem. 2 was smaller than 5. We had to stop. So this here is our remainder. Okay, so let's look at what this is telling us. This is telling us if you do 2x cubed plus 3x squared minus 15x minus 24, and you divide by x squared minus 2x minus 3, well, this is telling us that we get 2x plus 7. But then we have a remainder. So just like on this problem, 37 divided by 5 gave us 7 with 2/5 left over. So the 7 went here, the remainder of 2 went here, the 5 went here. Well, we got the same thing going on. This divided by this. It gave us 2x plus 7, but now we have a remainder. We have a remainder of 5x minus 3. And the thing we're dividing by, our divisor, is x squared minus 2x minus 3. So let's compare the pieces again. So this 2x plus 7 here, when I did long division, this 2x plus 7 came from here, this 2x plus 7. And that was like the 7 in our last problem. This kind of corresponds to this, and it went here. Now our remainder of 5x minus 3, that corresponds to this remainder here of 2. Well, the 2 went here, so we got to put the 5x minus 3 here. Now the 5 corresponds to my x squared minus 2x minus 3. So before, the 5 went here, or in other words, your divisor went here. So on this problem, our divisor here, it's got to go here.